Waiting for that. So yeah, no, I as you also can tell, I have reoriented this for the podcast because this is way easier for the podcast setup.
Yeah,
because then it's not poking into you here. I actually can like manipulate around. I can gesture without hitting the microphone.
Oh my god. We truly live in valuable times. Meanwhile, my mic stand is in front of the light, so you have the shadow right at my face.
That is clearly the best thing you could do. I feel like there's a solution for this.
I know. Man, I just had like... Do you ever eat just food and then you make the mistake of lying down and then you pass out and you wake up and you wrote the entire Declaration of Independence and now you're at war with Britain?
No. Turns out I haven't.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Tilt the World podcast.
You've done it to me.
Brought to you by Natural One RPG. Hey guys.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing a lot better. If you guys watched the last podcast, I was in a perpetual state of death.
Yeah.
Migraines will do that to you, and we talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about that. So we've had 1 week where it's a migraine, and now the next week it's the day after my birthday, except it totally isn't right now.
Oh.
We may be recording this like almost 2 weeks in advance.
Okay. I had that brief moment of panic.
If you look at the date,
I know. I was afraid for that briefest moment. Like
that's one thing is
Marshall.
I don't know what I want to like do for that.
Crying is always a good option. That's what I did.
It's getting close.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny for me because like the big thing I kind of had a realization about a number of times throughout the year because like whenever we've like done stuff as a big group or whatever, a big thing I've like realized more and more and more is that just I really I do like going out plenty of times, but there are also a lot of times that I just kind of like just hanging out, doing nothing, or just watching like videos and memes or whatever, playing games like with just a group of people, but like not really like having to like go places, especially spend money.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's
really the key part, is the spending money part. So kind of like a big thing for me in terms of like I said, sadly this episode is coming up after the birthday, but we're recording it before, so you gotta
wait one more week to find out what we did.
But I really have like I have little desire to actually really kind of do much of anything. I want to hang out with people and whatnot. I had the one. You have the most obnoxious collar.
We're just watching.
You having a good time, Frank?
And for all of our
you doing good
visual watchers who don't know what's going on, and
it's all camera. You good? You good?
Marshall's dog Frank just kept scratching himself right where the collar was, making all the jingly parts jingle, and he's doing it again.
He's going again. So not right where it is. Anywho, so like one of the ideas I had was I was thinking like, because one thing I've always wanted to do, just because I think it'd be really funny, and I think I'd have a great time, and I think other people would have a great time, which is to play Dungeons and Dragons while intoxicated.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I felt like that. I just kicked my mic stand a little bit, but I don't know. It's something I've always wanted to do because it's something that I felt like would always be like really fun or silly. And obviously, like I definitely like big thing for me is like I really don't. Even though I love to do drunk streams, like I don't, for the sake of the fact that like I'm generally, especially most of the time, like an only person running something, and then most other things that we do, like, and I couldn't do really D&D that way because I don't want to do our shows that way because, unless I was doing some type of method acting thing. So maybe one day, but maybe one day if like Percival goes on a huge bender, like if we ever get to the point where like land is discovered and like we can drink again.
Oh yeah, no.
I can go full method actor and just like pound some back, take some shots, and be like, all right, let's go.
Oh, here's hoping one ship out there still has liquor.
But otherwise, like I really, otherwise I just kind of, for the show, obviously, I want to keep face for the sake of the shows themselves. So I really don't get much of an opportunity to do drunk D&D. The only other place I play D&D is when I go to Lake Geneva.
And that's public intoxication.
Yes, and there are laws against this.
Yes,
unfortunately.
I mean, it'll be interesting. Would this be with you as a drunk DM or you as a drunk player?
No,
with the rest
I would probably. I thought about that, but I think it would definitely be better if I was just a player. Because for me, I think it'd be more fun to like, especially in a one-off setting. Because then I could just like do whatever and just be like, I want to get some bitches. I don't sound like that at all when I'm drunk. But
all right, roll for bitches.
roll for bitches. Your DC is 25,000. It's just like real life.
I think Key and Peele made a skit kind of like that, or a skit.
That would be a great that would be a great sketch.
They did. Now I remember. Yeah. No. It was like one guy invited his cousin over. His cousin was a gangbanger, and he's like, "I want to get some bitches." Like, you can't get bitches. I roll for bitches.
Oh, like while actually playing D&D.
Yes.
I was thinking the other way around, that like it's essentially the D&D in real life concept. So when you're at the bar and you're trying to pick up a girl, if you're like you actually have roll, but like you like time stops, you roll. It's like good or bad, and you then you would have you'd use like a graphic to show like your score, so how it would add up, and then you're like, so it's like say you saying hi, so it's just, or you're just like, it's like I'm like what's up or whatever, like I want to talk, like I want to smooth talk. All right, make a performance check. Like the voice of God is just like, make a performance check. So you roll, and it's like 13. It's like, okay, you're having a nice conversation, blah 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 blah. All right, I'm gonna try to convince her to come home with me. All right, make another persuasion check. 1. No, and then like immediately like hard cuts to like them being like a normal, like in the conversation, like, you are all.
I want your hands.
Just your hands. I want your hands. Give me your hands. Police? And then the police would come in and just beat you down. It'd be a great sketch. I would love to make that. Nobody take the idea. OC, do not steal.
It's gonna be copyrighted right after this.
Yeah,
we're gonna
before this comes out. You get you before we even thought we could get you.
The thought police, man. It's gonna happen.
The fashion police at Anime Milwaukee a couple years ago was a great idea. They were a great group, and them getting you was one of the funnier parts.
Yes,
for sure. And Nick, the ever cynical bastard that he is, of course asks about himself.
It's why we love him.
I thought about that like one day I was like watching that again, and I heard Nick go like, "What about me?" And I just kind of thought about it because like, especially this was at a time nearby Colossal Con, where me and Nick have had a discussion about this. So I think I can talk about it publicly. Where we were kind of concerned about like, I guess we'll put it in a way of like his goals, in terms of like, and how much his goals maybe got in the way of like being somewhat of a human being. It's a very bad descriptor, but I'm not entirely off either. But I saw that then, and it made me laugh because I think about, because Nick is a very confident guy, you know, and he likes to feel like he dressed very fashionable and in trend. And because of that, it's really funny to me then that he asked the fashion police. He had to get validation from them.
I forgot what their answer was.
Oh, and they kind of memed him. They didn't give him a ticket, but they just kind of gave him like yeah. It was something like that. It wasn't that exactly, but it was very much just like you're good for now. Like, we're not going to give you the ticket, but you know. Watch yourself. Watch yourself, Playboy.
Yeah. There's your validation, denim boy.
Denim boy. That was still denim days. Mm-hmm. Like, he's been long into denim days. So,
oh man,
that was pretty early on in denim days, and that was on a Sunday though too.
It was. Yeah. Oh my god.
That's why you were also just kind of like dying in a way.
I feel like I'm always in a state of dying. Regardless of.
But it was a different type.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different form of dying at that point.
Anybody who's been to a convention for all 3 days will understand the Sunday dying state.
Which was very different with Colossal Con when it was 4. That was really extreme.
Yeah. Oh.
So, in terms of other things that have happened recently,
yes.
The Nintendo Direct, well, for us at least recently, so this is like super late to talk about, but there's something into it. So we're going to talk about the Direct itself very little. Obviously, people are excited, including myself, about Animal Crossing.
Oh my god, yes.
Because anytime I see gameplay for that game, I get a stroke of happiness.
Is that what you call an erection?
You know, I was trying to avoid it. I was going to get there, but like I kind of was like, maybe I won't. And there you are.
I'm glad I took that leap for you. I'm glad you're standing at the edge of that bridge, and I'm like... Here you go, buddy.
Let's go together.
Let me suplex you into this. But yeah, no. Oh my god, crafting system.
And then, the Pokemon camping just
I know.
It made me feel so excited and happy. Like it just, like I felt the coziness of camping with my Pokemon already.
I just want to make food for these imaginary creatures and neglect to
I'm calling out people again who are already calling Pokemon Sword and Shield a pile of garbage. You're a pile of garbage. Have faith and go camping, you stupid bitch. That's not a clip.
Oh man. What's that new Pokemon? Portigeist?
Yeah, Portigeist.
Portigeist.
Which is a great name. I love it.
So good. And it comes in different flavors. That's canon.
Well, I love also apparently that like Cream Puff Pokemon also has a different form.
You can eat these Pokemon.
I don't know about that one particularly. Although I remember seeing something about how very much though there are a number of times in the Pokemon anime that they definitely reference eating Pokemon.
Yes.
But it inherently makes sense.
Slowpoke tails.
Well, that was at least that was one thing that was in the game, but that was used as like a thing that you shouldn't do.
Right.
But like, what do you eat in Pokemon Land if you don't eat Pokemon? Like, are you not eating Tauros? Because I think you're eating Tauros.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there's getting some Miltank out there.
What's in that steak, Brock?
Well, again, in the anime, it's a different story, but it's more about like, hey, Red, what you eating there, bud?
Mm-hmm.
You can't be traveling all this time and not eat anything except for lemonade
and water.
But yeah, so there were great things in that Direct. But one of the things that they also announced was finally they're putting SNES games into for like the Nintendo Switch Online members.
Oh yeah.
Which is great because obviously like I think honestly like a lot of people gave the NES stuff a lot of crap when it came out, and obviously it's because like people really wanted a full virtual console and whatnot, but honestly like you didn't get like this. There may have been a lot of games on like virtual console, especially in the Wii U and like for NES and SNES a lot, but there was a lot of also like weird crap games that I cannot imagine who gave a shit about. And I know somebody maybe would be like, oh, but I love blah blah fighter 68. But okay, you know what? Like for the most part, there are a lot of games out there that are like super like super like just like what's the word? Not opaque. For some reason, opaque is the only word I can think of. Obscure.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of obscure games that like really don't need to be on there. And sure, does tennis for the NES need to be on there? Probably not. But hey, it's
on
something.
There. Yeah.
But I honestly I feel like they got most of the classics. They obviously they've added more over time. And now they've added the SNES, which will obviously also get added more over time. And then it made me think about the fact that I still really want you to play Chrono Trigger.
Yes. But much to your disappointment, it is not part of that package.
Yes, I was hoping when I initially saw SNES and I saw the list of games, I was really hoping Chrono Trigger would be on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked before the podcast to double check because I couldn't remember, and it's not, which made me a little disappointed. But there are other things that have it, like Steam. So it's not necessarily out of the realm. But this was the way that I wouldn't have had to pay money for it.
That's fair. I mean,
at least not money that I've already paid.
Also true. Yeah, I mean, don't worry, I'll do you the favor. I'll go on Wikipedia and look up the ending, and then I'll come back to you.
No. So I've had the discussion.
Yes.
And anybody who's watching, you can comment in the comments below. I would absolutely love to play that game with you, and have you experience it, because you never played it before.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't find super shocking, because I mean, anybody who didn't grow up with the SNES, at least,
right?
I don't obviously expect them to play it. I mean, I didn't play it until later. But man, that game is so good.
Yeah,
you'll cry, then cry some more. You thought you cried about Undertale.
Oh man! Speaking of Undertale, Sans is now in Smash.
Yes. Oh my god! So a friend of ours, who's a cosplayer, he's at Nocti Cosplay. You should check him out. But does some killer D&D cosplays and many others.
Mm-hmm.
But he made an Instagram story. So obviously, sadly, you can't really see it now. But he made an Instagram story, and he was singing with the Sans music, but about the Sans Mii Fighter, and it was I was one of the times that it was one of the most funny, it was one of the times I laughed in an Instagram story in a long time. It's so just funny to see him just memeing hard on the Sans, just the whole thing.
Oh my god, I'm so happy they did that.
Do you want to have a bad time, Franny?
I always have a bad time when I'm with you.
Oh
yeah,
you shouldn't have.
Yeah, I know, right? Now you have to disinfect that shoulder.
Oh god, no.
What else? Because you read the direct.
I read an article because I was in a class. Okay. I was extremely bored in a class because all my professor was doing was just kind of showing off how much he knows, and so how cool he is, clearly. Because it's just why do I need to see everything that you've done in the last 20 years?
Shout out to Marshall's professor.
Yeah, this is in my animation class, which is really cool.
Right. Oh man. Because I watched it. They kept doing this thing. It was oh look, why is that thing there? Well, that thing's there because, and they did that at least 5 different times in the direct. I shit you not. It's wait, is that Tiki?
Wait, is that Tiki?
By the way, I'm sure you know.
Yes.
The Fire Emblem / Persona crossover game.
Yes, that is coming to the Switch.
It is. So now people will actually play it, hopefully.
Yeah, I wanted to get it, but it was one of those where I could never get the money together to get it, and then kind of eventually I was just I don't know, do I really want to? So it maybe I'll go for it. Maybe I won't. We'll see. Obviously we are still going to have to be getting through. We're going to still have to be getting through our Pokemon playthroughs.
Oh my god, yes.
Well, obviously the Pokemon, but also we have to get through Fire Emblem 3 Houses still, which I really haven't touched much of at all, just because I've just been trying to pound other things out. Especially I've had a lot more work with my work, the thing that does pay me.
I was gonna make a joke about you pounding things, but yes, continue.
But
all them brides. Who's calling me?
I don't know.
That's my aunt.
I don't know. Do we have to pause?
No, I don't think so. Hopefully not.
I mean, she's calling you on Messenger.
That's true. Yeah, pause it.
We'll be right back.
I'm Elena.
2 hours later.
All right, so yeah, for audio-wise at least, though, we have to subtract about 7.5 minutes.
All right, and we're back. I'm sorry, Marshall. I guess I have cancer now, so that was my doctor.
Yeah.
I have cancer in my big toe, the left one in particular. So now this would be the last podcast.
Sadly, toe cancer.
Record. Yes.
So we're talking about the Sans thing.
Yes.
I feel like we should somewhat just move on from that at this point.
That's true.
And talking about good old, one of the things I wanted to talk about slightly was kind of and we touched upon it slightly in a previous episode, but it was before the game came out, and now after the game is out, somewhat of those feelings are still kind of true, but I can't say they're solid, which is my disenchantment with the Fire Emblem series at this point. The big reason is not mainly because I haven't been able to play this one, but it's just that, like, the way I feel playing it, I really feel a lack of what made the one, especially like the GBA ones, but even going into like Shadow Dragon 2, I don't know, just like what made them enjoyable for me to play. Like, especially like with the fact that Three Houses is such a life sim, like, which is what makes it hard, is it just feels like a different game.
Right.
Like, obviously the core gameplay is still there, but maybe as we play through it, I'll be able to really get into it more and more. But what's really hard is that because I generally don't play the life simmy type game. Like, I'm writing a thing now, about it. It's like about Twilight Princess, and like the reason that like I like a lot of time, the reason like I can still kind of play Twilight Princess more often than I can play Breath of the Wild,
yes,
is because I kind of enjoy the semi-linearity of like what the games can do, and like when you have to manage all this other stuff, it takes away the part that I like, which was the overarching plot. Like, it's like, there's this cool overarching plot, but you have to make sure these people like each other. These people like each other. The kids, you have to hit the kids. I know that's not in Three Houses, but I'm saying for other ones in the 3DS genre. Or the goal, make sure you have money for activities. Like, those are my, like, it's. I feel like slightly there's been some detraction from what I enjoyed from the original ones.
Well, at the very least, what I can say from my experience playing Three Houses, and since I already beat the game,
yeah, I kind of almost want to refrain from doing it.
Yeah,
until we potentially would stop, because I almost want to experience things first time in the.
I hear you. The big thing about it that I realize is that the support bonds are not necessary in this one. You can go through every single thing, just leveling up people, not even having to go through one support.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you just did everything. You're fine. They're not necessary for anything. You don't have to get like support level B in order to unlock something or stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because the main reason I enjoy doing it, especially especially it was really easy to do in something like Sacred Stones.
Yeah.
Was just because obviously you got like an interesting epilogue. For anybody, right? Like, or any like couple, and that was partly the reason that I enjoyed it. But it's very hard, like, especially now. I have the same problem with Dragon Age. When I try to play a lot of Dragon Age games, it's very hard for me to not think of a character and not think like, who should the romance option be? Like it's very hard to get that out of your head. But especially in Dragon Age, like it really can kind of make a difference.
Right.
And what can be particularly hard is if like you don't explicitly like maybe like one thing over another. Now the benefit we have with Fire Emblem and what that I didn't have in a lot of games like Dragon Age is in Dragon Age I don't specifically have like a character like really like, or especially the case with Dragon Age, because when I play all 3 games over, they actually connect.
Yes.
Like to the 3rd game.
Oh yeah.
They have the Dragon Age Keep, which like tracks all of the things that you do, and so you can and then like they'll reference each other all the like, so that's way more advanced. Like Fire Emblem doesn't have that problem. No. So I'm way more like potentially gonna have better feelings about 3 Houses as they come. But my concern is the life sin aspect getting in the way of the actual plot. Like one of the great examples I think that I was hoping that maybe 3 Houses would somewhat feel like is kind of like Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. Like kind of just like the way that the talk, like the base section worked.
Yep.
Where you had like, you could do supports and whatnot, but they also had just like talking to people.
Yes.
But it was so less involved in needing to like go places. Because obviously I haven't seen past the school section. So obviously like things are involved in the school. You have to do all the, like the lunch with people and things like that.
You don't have to. That's just an optional thing that you can do.
But how will I get support? How will I recruit them to my house?
But the old-fashioned way.
I need to recruit them, so I need to buy them lunch.
That's if you want them. You can go through the store with the 8 students you have now. Yeah. They're more than enough than what you need.
True. I mean, in terms of like if we ever do like a single play, like a private, like if I do a private playthrough where I will do something like the Golden Deer, because as we noted, especially mainly for your sake, because you already did the Golden Deer, that you kind of enjoyed potentially seeing the other end of a spectrum here, or like the other house perspective. I don't remember, actually I have to reference back to the episode. I already forgot which house we were going to go for because we left that at the end of the last recording session.
Think we decided Blue Lion?
I don't remember. I'll have to look it up. We might audible it. We may be like get in there and be like, you know what? But otherwise like we were going to kind of just we'll see. And yeah, maybe we'll only recruit like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
We'll make it like too crazy, and it depends on how simple it inevitably gets. Like, you know, if we're able to just kind of cruise through some of the stuff, like I felt like when I was trying, because I kind of was trying to speed run in a test section, because I like lost a character in like the learn how to fight day thing, and I was like, does that count to like the classic style, like they're dead? I was trying to check, and so I like was speed running through like the next like section until you got to another mission, which was a little longer than maybe I would have liked, which is part of where my concerns came from.
Right.
But inevitably I learned no. Yeah. That one does not count. But that was the big thing, was like I was trying to like, but I was able to get through it relatively quickly and still even do like lunch with people in that. But it was just like, obviously all it included was, you know, me just kind of like running through everything as fast as I could. So I think the big thing for us and what I think will help an enjoyment with that game would be like, at least if we just kind of are going through it together type thing. I think then it'll give it a little more. It'll make it feel like it's going less slowly.
Yes. It's just a matter of finding out which stuff belongs to who. You'll find out what I mean by that.
Yeah, sure. I was going to say, did somebody let somebody's backpack fall? And you're like, I gotta find who owns these things. For some reason, this one backpack had things that belong to 8 people.
He's like, hey, you like cooking, right? Damn it, it's not you. Fuck.
No.
It's like, really? This is yours? What? You're just some dark shit. My entire experience is playing this game.
Yeah,
well, such a good game.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, we'll see. But a big thing that I always felt like was, you know, like, because I really love because I love the like GBA ones, and it's like, especially like 7 has a really good point to me in terms of just like the way the story like really like arcs really well, and then still having gameplay that still feels really challenging, but like definitely is like way more interesting in terms of trying to like time out strategies. Like it was the issue. Part of the issue I had in Awakening was I felt like it was just kind of like I just need to do the objective, or even in Fates too. It was just like all I have to do is the objective in the map. Like the map, the actual game was a means to an end. It almost felt like it didn't feel like the way that doing the maps inside of the other Fire Emblem games felt, and that was always my problem with the 3DS ones.
I understand that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Or the Wii, even the Wii and GameCube one.
True. Yep.
Like those really felt like there was a lot going on, especially the last levels, like the final chapters of Radiant Dawn. Those, like, you have to strategize. They're so hard. They're so good.
Because those certain units have to do certain actions in order for you to actually beat the game.
Yeah, and yeah, there's so much that you have to like think about and work on. It's great. And even throughout the game, there's many things that like in terms of just because making sure that the characters will be good enough when they get there. Because if you just like tank a bunch of your characters, then you get to the end sequence, you're just screwed.
Yeah, no. It happens. You once you pick a team in the old ones, you have to stick with that team or else.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes you can kind of play up and around if you wanted to, but for the most part, yeah, you really had to stick to it. And I'm imagining that's still inherently the case, but it did feel like a lot more in Awakening and Fates that like the combat, when I was just kind of doing it, it didn't feel like I was really like, if you find this secret thing, you can do this, but you got to make sure you get there in the right time. It was just kind of more like, oh no, bandits are here. Oh, but you can move like 800 million miles an hour, so who cares? Like, it really felt like there was little amounts where the amount of times in those games where like I really felt pressured to get like anything done in the map. It was just kind of felt like I was definitely going to get there. I think a lot of it also came to like the type of units you got really early.
Oh yeah, definitely. Which version did you play again? For Fates?
Conquest.
Conquest. Okay.
I was like, which one is that? I don't remember anymore.
You had the fun one though.
Yeah, it like that's what I was told too. But you know, and I think it was, and I really love the design of a lot of those characters too. And that's why like I've always had this itch to like want to do it again, but every time I like play it, I just like lose a lot of like interest. And I think part of it comes to like the way that certain of the early weapons work for your character, and like it's kind of, you know, especially like the sword you get, and then the fact that it's interesting that I was originally really interested in the fact that you essentially play like a Manicat.
Yep.
But then it lost like its luster in a way, so it's kind of like
I can turn into a mannequin.
So you kind of are given one of the more overpowered character classes in Fire Emblem series is right in a way. Like,
and the reason why is very spotty.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not. It's one of the weaker ones, in my opinion, for sure. In terms of like, really, in terms of game feel. You know, even with Conquest.
Yep.
Which is apparently the better one.
I did enjoy the new classes though for Fates.
Yeah, I mean there are a number of the new classes that I really like. Like I really love Trickster. Like Trickster is a great class. I love that in both, and obviously that was an Awakening. But the Trickster was one of my favorites. I use it for character concept a number of times in like D&D too. Like I love that like type of character and like the way that class works. Because especially it reminded me of like the Rogue, or I think it was called the Rogue in Sacred Stones. The thing that like Kenneth is.
Yes. Wait, the guy in green, right?
No, I'm talking about the guy who, I mean, Calm can turn into this too.
Yep.
But Renak. Renak is his name. He has like brown hair. He's the one that would travel with Lady or Rachel.
Oh yeah, you're right. You said Rogue? I think you're right, yeah.
I think it's called Rogue?
I want to say yes. Are you looking it up right now?
No.
Do you have it with you? You just pull up Sacred Stones, like, what?
I mean, it's around here somewhere.
I know I have it, and I know exactly where it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unpacking does that to you. You just become acutely aware of everything that you own.
Yeah. Does help.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe hopefully, I'll get more into Three Houses as we go.
I'll help you. There's one website that can help you get really into Three Houses. Rule 34.
I was gonna say Pornhub was a joke because for some reason I had the idea that this wasn't gonna be a porn joke, but I would make the porn joke. Ha ha! Nope, you made it anyway.
Nope.
Great. No, I think the other big thing is I love the design of like the 16-bitty feel of the GBA one still too. Like,
that's fair. Yeah.
I think obviously a lot of that's nostalgia, but I just really love the design of those, like the way they look and feel. Like I hate the fact that you're super fast on the map in Three Houses. Like it genuinely bothers me.
I was about to call a meme and then I realized it didn't fit. Like, damn, boy. Damn. And for some reason, my head computed it as like he's fast. I'm like, wait, no.
Gotta go fast. It's not damn, boy.
Right?
But yeah, no.
But the female avatar, though.
Sure, but they just go and like gripe that it's too fast.
Yes. I think that does it. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it feel right?
One way or another.
But we gotta cut it open with a knife. Peek in, medium rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
That'll
worst
do it.
closing line ever.
It's a great analogy for.
I'm hungry again. Jesus.
No. All right. Well, we'll see you next time. We have to get ready. We have Ever Crescent Moon tonight.
Oh my God, we do.
Of this recording. So
we're going on a boat.
Don't go to sleep.
I will not.
And we will see you guys next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
So long. No reason. I don't know at all why. But yes, it is one of the funniest things of hearing, especially when I'm editing the vlog and I'm hearing you and Nick just like, why does he look like he's about to murder her? And I'm just like, and I remember watching it, and I'm just like, I do. Why?